Hey guys, so since this league is a bit rippy, I wanted to play with something that is kind of immortal, which is Dancing Dervish. And I wanted to experiment a bit. It's not a usual build. Normally you would go with like Occultist for the smoothest clear speed because of the explosions, but this is my build number 4, and this is Elementalist Impale Dancing Dervish. Now, there are a couple of reasons why it's Elementalist. One of the reasons is that I wanted to experiment a bit more. Another reason is Call of the Void Ring. I can guarantee chills myself as Elementalist, and this also reduces enemy damage when I chill them. When enemies die from that chill, they also shatter, which means if I roll through enemies with the Cyclone and my minions get the kill, the enemies are gonna explode. Well, they're gonna shatter without explosion. They're gonna shatter without leaving corpses, which is beneficial in certain cases, like against porcupines, for example. Another reason why it's Elementalist, I did not want to worry about any of my minions dying. Since Dancing Dervish is like 99% damage reduction, they are pretty much immortal. You're still gonna want to use at least golems to get like Feeding Frenzy and extra damage from Karen Golem. So Elementalist does have auto resummon golems essentially. Once your golems die, 4 seconds later they're gonna be resummoned automatically. So you don't need to worry about golems at all. You just summon them and that's it. You also get quite a lot of tankiness from Chaos Golem and a lot of regen from Stone Golem. And the Karen Golem does give damage to all minions. And you do get increased effect of buffs granted by golems from Elementalist. And then Shaper of Storms gives you guaranteed shocks, so you can also shock enemies, which isn't a big deal. You could use Skitter Boss normally, but you don't need to reserve an aura. And this guarantees at least 15% shocks. And then lastly, like I said, Shaper of Winter, you guarantee chill, and you slow down enemies, and they also do less damage, so it works like a double defensive layer. And I'm going Impale because I think Impale just scales very easily. I tried video crafting an elemental version and it just did not look as good. Another unusual thing, I guess, is the Ancient Skull unique helmet. Minions have 50% increase critical strike chance per maximum power charge you have. You do not need power charges, it just checks how many maximum power charge. What is your maximum power charge limit, essentially? If you got 3, then minions gonna get 150 crit chance, which isn't that much. They actually get a lot more from getting power charges than from this modifier. Minions can hear the whispers for 5 seconds after they deal critical strike, and this whisper is the reason why I'm using this. Minions which hear whispers take 20% of their maximum life as heals damage per second. However, Dancing Dervish doesn't even feel it. It just leeches it back, regens it back, it doesn't feel it. And Dancing Dervish also, well, all of my minions also get 50% increased attack speed, which is pretty massive for Dancing Dervish, 50% increased damage, and the helmet itself also gives minion movement speed, which is also pretty important. And a reduced minion life doesn't really matter for Dancing Dervish because you're not gonna be able to kill it. It's very, very tanky. And the golems, well, they get resummoned quickly after they die, and they don't really die that quickly because my golems as elementalists are also immune to elemental damage. So they essentially die from the Chaos damage when they crit. So I kind of mitigate the Ancient Skull drawbacks by using Dancing Dervish, and I still gain some minion damage through being Elementalist and some defenses. And initially I didn't think that this is gonna work all that well. I was planning on just using this for map farming, but it actually can do bosses, and I wasn't like doing Uber bosses or anything like that, or Cirrus, even normal Cirrus. I was just doing like Conquerors whenever I get tier 16 Conquerors, the Exile and the Eater of Walls, stuff like that you can easily do with this. You can also do this very safely, sort of. Actually, we can even cyclone off screen and kill enemies off screen before you get to them. But because you are using Ancient Skull, you cannot convocate them, you cannot command them with the Signal Prey or whatever the skill is called. So essentially they don't listen to you at all. Just like teenagers. Essentially, you are like a teacher who's teaching teenagers, and they just don't listen to you. They just do whatever they want, right? I would only recommend this build if you want something different, I guess. The clear speed is not the most amazing thing, and the minion AI, I wouldn't say that minion AI is really bad, but Dancing Dervish tends to fixate on a single enemy. Once we tag some enemy, they won't let go until that enemy dies, or until you move like 2-3 screens away, and then they get teleported back to you. And sometimes they're just gonna leave you alone surrounded by enemies. That's why having a couple golems all the time is also pretty nice. because golems are gonna pull the aggro and you're not gonna be lonely as well. Also, the build is actually very cheap. I had like 3 Exiles budget and I didn't even spend all of it, but later on I did invest a bit more. I got Impossible Escape, which is linked to the Doomsday keystone, just to save a couple points. It saves me like 5 points, 5 passive points, and allows me to get a bit more chill effect. By the way, I am chilling enemies for I believe 24%, and the shock, I don't quite remember. I'm gonna have to check in the videos. However, I kind of need to be on top of enemies all the time. The Cyclone is pretty scary. That's why I have Stormbrand linked with nothing else, just a Stormbrand. If I had more suckers, I would add more things, but I don't even have Desecrate, I don't have any offerings, don't have Spectres, don't have Animate Guardian, nothing. Basically, you just click 2 buttons. And another thing, if you want to copy this build, make sure you pay attention to path of building import code, how all the skills are set up, because some things like precision I did not link with the generosity, because I need precision myself to have accuracy, to be able to hit enemies more, because without it I had like 60% accuracy, which is really bad. You don't want to be cycling for more than you have to trigger the Dancing Dervish. And to trigger Dancing Dervish you essentially have to hit 15 times, which is very easy with the cycling because it just has so many attacks per second. I have 7.7 attacks per second with the cycle, so it takes like 2 seconds to get the dervishes out against a single target. But I do carry Writhing Jar just in case some bosses have long phases with like no enemies to hit, so I just pop the flask. They kill, they kind of reset the duration of the rampage, but even if I lose it, it's not a big deal. The body armor does not have to be 6 linked. I even have Pride inside the body armor, because Pride does not need to be linked with Generosity, since it is not affecting allies but enemies, so it doesn't even do anything with Generosity. Determination, you want determination for yourself, so you don't want to link with Generosity. The Dread Banner, I decided to go with the Diversion Dread Banner to get a bit more extra Impale chance. Also, Impale chance is not a difficult thing to cap on minions. You just need a cluster node, which gives 12% chance to impale, then the Dread Banner and the Impale support. And by the way, the Dancing Dervish does not need to be linked, because all the support gems are linked to the skill inside the weapon, so it does not need to be linked. And because it is pretty much immortal, you can safely use minion damage support, which lowers their life even more, but that doesn't matter, we just never die. I did go with the power charge on crit. By the way, this is also a crit build. I did go with the power charge on crit support gem, because I believe each power charge gives them like 200% critical strike chance. I can't quite remember, I have to check wiki. So it's a big deal. So with 3 power charges we get pretty much capped on crit chance, as long as you provide Brittle Ground, and I do have Brittle Ground. Basically just roll through enemies with the Cyclone, leaving Brittle Ground, which gives them more critical strike chance, which gives them more DPS essentially. Pulverize for more AoE. I also, because I'm using Cyclone, by the way, Cyclone is linked with nothing. It doesn't need to have any other links, but I am using Cyclone still because I have Poacher's Mark with Mark on hit, so I just hit enemies with the Cyclone and it applies Poacher's Mark. The Anointment, I'm still not sure what to go with the Anointment. I went with the Recoup to have a bit more sustain for myself. I do have pretty big region, over 600 flat life region, mostly because of the Stone Golem. But the most important thing is you need Brittle Ground boots, which isn't difficult to get, and maybe amulet like that with the reduced, well, determination has increased mana reservation efficiency, which by the way you can catalyst with the life and mana modifiers. So I actually crafted this myself. And on minion jewels, on ghastly eye jewels, you want flat damage to minions, you want life for yourself of course, maybe even resistances. Taunt is also nice, Blind is nice, you are getting Maim linked to your Karen Golem. Well, basically you can review all the supports and links and everything else used in this. It's nothing really special, it just was an experiment and it was a success in my eyes. I wouldn't really take this to like big bosses because you cannot control the minions, and if one Dancing Dervish decides to attack one target and another one attacks another target, then your damage is cut more than in half, because you can only apply a mark on one target, and then it becomes kind of a messy fight. Now, like I said, this is build number 4, and I actually returned to build number 3. I did a video about the last video about Call of the Void ring, and I decided to go full on that ring and full on the Held of Ice, and the next video will be hopefully tomorrow. I have like a really bad brain fog. It's actually difficult even to speak for some reason. Something I guess is affecting my brain that is responsible for speaking. It's really hard to speak, and sentences are hard me no speak. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The next video, like I said, will be Held of Ice clearing. Pretty much, it's actually very satisfying to watch and I guess hear the Held of Ice explosions happening all the time. But it's not gonna be a serious build. It's just like a demonstration of how far I guess you can push Held of Ice. You definitely need explosions based on the some kind of percentage of monster life, not just flare damage, because Hell of Ice just doesn't have much base damage. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.